Ahoy there, Internet! Citizen Napoleon here with a Let's Play of Custom Robo. I'm just going to take you through the first 10 minutes of the game. If you have any interest in Custom Robo, it's really an incredible import-only game for the Nintendo 64. Unfortunately, it never came out in America or Europe. It should have, because it's just so exciting and fun. As you can tell, things are happening, bombs are going off, lasers are being shot. It's just such a fun game. I actually did a retrospective of this game. You can see that here. I'll have a link up somewhere. And it's really just a ton of fun if you can emulate it, or if you can get an actual cartridge. It's not that rare. It shouldn't be that expensive. I picked it up here in Japan for about, I don't know, $3. It wasn't that expensive. Especially if you're buying it loose. The game is pretty simple. You're just some kid who, on a very special day, I don't think it's your birthday. On the reviews it says it's your birthday, but in a little Japanese that I know, they never say birthday, so whatever. That's just minor details. You just get this cube, and that's your Custom Robo. It's this little toy, basically, that you put into a thing called the Holocene, which I like to think of as like a pool table, or whatever. It does take you a while to get the actual gameplay. It's just kind of a lot of yapping at first, which is unfortunate, because the gameplay is just so incredible. It is so fast, it's so exciting, it's third-person action that, oh my god. The later Custom Robo games, there was one for, I think, the Game Boy Advance or maybe the DS, and then there was another for the GameCube. For some reason, those came out in America, but this one didn't, and this one should have. It is just so good. I would actually love to play this to completion. Unfortunately, I've only been able to get in maybe 5+ hours of gameplay, but it is just so cool. And the beginning's a bit slow because you just gotta walk around and just kind of talk to people. I think you just gotta talk to the right person, which is this bizarro kid over here with weirdo hair. It's a very Japanese game. You get a little bit of anime portraits going on, and the characters look crazy. But that's okay. It's like, whatever. Who cares? This isn't even really the main part of the game. You're in this weird kind of Harvest Moon looking set of graphics. So you're just kind of hanging out. Not much is going on. It's like, okay, you're just a bunch of talking. There is a lot of kanji going on, but this is actually one of those games you don't really need to know Japanese to enjoy the game. You certainly would need to know a lot of Japanese to figure out what's going on right now. But the actual gameplay itself is, I mean, pretty text-free, so that's nice. I think with this you just talk to a lot of people. It's been a while since I've played this game, since I did my retrospective, but man, I just remember this game being so cool. I actually did read a couple of reviews on, like, IGN, apparently. I think it was IGN. Was, like, reviewing import games, like, way back in the 2000s. This game came out, like, 99, 2000. It's not terribly old. It came out late in the Nintendo 64's life. Okay, finally. I mean, I've been doing this for 4 minutes now, and we haven't gotten to the actual gameplay. Can we talk about that in games for a second? About how, and especially Japanese games, I think it's true of many different games worldwide, but Japanese games are especially guilty of this, where they have these long-winded introductions where it's like, I'd really just love to be playing the game at this point, but instead I am just reading lots of text and just things that aren't very exciting. I just want to be playing Custom Robo. I just want to have my Robo and I want to be shooting people. But instead, I'm listening to this guy, this kid in glasses, just speak to me. Okay, finally, things are happening. That's his Custom Robo. I'm gonna get out my own, which I just got from my mom. I'm gonna start the battle by hitting the start button. As you can see that a lot of this is in English, not all of it, but the important bits are in English. Here's the battlefield. You start out in this kind of cannon. You can use the joystick to move around. Hopefully you gotta land on a certain side. If you don't land correctly, then you gotta pull yourself out. The B button shoots this bomb over here that you can kind of guide. But the A just shoots your standard kind of pistol. The great thing about Custom Robo is, as the name implies, you can choose from a lot of different customizable options. Different guns, different jetpacks, different bombs. There's also this thing when you hit the Z button. They're like these little, not quite, some of them are seekers, but they're just kind of little, I don't even know what to call those. They're like missiles. When you hit your enemies for a lot of damage, they actually go invulnerable for a minute. You can hit them for just enough to where they'll beat you down. Sometimes they will go invincible, sometimes they will not. I think that just depends on how much damage you do. You always start out with 1,000. I don't think that changes. That might change depending upon your customization. But you have 1,000 HP. First to 0 loses. It's awesome. The difficulty isn't actually that high, so you will go for about 4 or 5 hours. Feeling like the game is too easy. But once you get to the point where the enemy AI is actually starting to get better, and they have some really cool weapons, like one guy has this thing that shoots out a flaming dragon that's awesome, and especially when you get it, you're pretty much unstoppable at that point. But you will face enemies that have like sniper rifles and flaming dragons and things that shoot around corners. And man, those guys are really tough. But the beginning guys just have standard pistols, the same thing that you do. Here you can see the customization menu. You've got your gun, your missile that you shoot out using the B button, your rockets that you shoot with the Z button, and then your boots. I don't actually know what the boots do. I haven't really been able to tell, but you don't actually have to do a lot in this game besides equip the newest stuff that you get. You get items after every battle, mostly. And there are just so many options that you can really vary things up. And there's a really cool multiplayer mode that hopefully I will be able to show at some point if I can con somebody into playing Custom Robo with me for 10 minutes. But you never know. Multiplayer is a really cool part of this game and something that, again, I wish they had come out with in America because it is just so cool. I can't really show the best part of the game. You'll see that in my retrospective, the other cool arenas. This is pretty simple, this is pretty basic, not that exciting, but it's still so cool. If you can get it on, if you can get the ROM of this, that should be easy to find. It's cool, Custom Robo. Check it out. It is so fun. If you love the Nintendo 64, if you like playing import games for 64-bit systems, this is one of the best. Anybody who plays import games for the Nintendo 64 will know this game, and it's just incredible. There was a sequel, there was Custom Robo version 2. I actually haven't gotten a hold of it yet, but I'm really looking forward to it, especially with how amazing this game is. It's so quick. It's just unlike, especially with all of the other N64 games that I've played that have been import only, like Ozumo, SimCity. If you've been following my Let's Plays or my retro reviews, there are just a lot of Japanese games that just belong only in Japan. They weren't ported over to America for a reason. And there is no reason that Custom Robo shouldn't have been released. I just can't say that enough. There was a huge pile of money that Nintendo could have made from releasing this game on the N64 in America, and they just let it be. And that was their mistake, especially since the Nintendo 64 was looking for a lot of action games to get people in to play the Nintendo 64, since it wasn't as popular as it could have been, especially when you compare it to the PlayStation. Here, we can just kind of walk around. I think you can battle. Yeah, you'll see these guys. They're throwing their Rubik's Cube, Custom Robo looking items. They are the ones standing next to the Holoceums, the board here, that you can fight. They'll tell you stuff. You're like, yeah, sure, let's battle. And then your bro will usually give you some advice, except for in the tournaments when you're on your own and usually you have to battle him and humiliate them. It's also nice because when you lose, you just go back to right before the battle. You don't have to worry about saving that much. And battles happen so quick that it really doesn't matter. You can just do whatever you want. and you don't really have to worry about losing. It's not like a lot of Japanese games that punish you for failure. Not unlike the society. Anyway, I'll just go through one more battle just to show you what the different enemies are like. They're not really that varied in the beginning of the game. I'm at about 10 minutes now. If you've been watching for 10 minutes, thank you so much for watching. I really think games like this deserve to be shown, especially when they're of good quality. My last Let's Play that I made was of SimCity 2000 for the Nintendo 64, and that was just a game that had no business being ported. But, whatever. This game is good. It should have gotten a worldwide release, but it didn't. What are you gonna do? There's a lot of games like that. Sin and Punishment, a lot of the shooters for different consoles, different arcade games. Just sometimes licensing doesn't happen. People don't put effort into things. What are you gonna do? That's life. That was import gaming 20 years ago. This game came out like, yeah, 15 years ago, 20 years ago when the Nintendo 64 first came out. Import gaming was a sham. It just didn't really happen. But these days, you get the PlayStation Network. You can not really hack it, but you can just make a Japanese account. You can download whatever Japanese games you want. Not so 20 years ago. Internet barely around, couldn't really download a whole lot of stuff, certainly couldn't download games. Oh, I just got a new part. And with that, I'm gonna leave you to decide to play this game. I really recommend it. You should check it out. It's an incredible game. Emulate it. If you have a Wii, if you have a Japanese Wii, you can get it on the Virtual Console. Pick it up on eBay. I mean, just get a Japanese N64 or just region mod your N64. It's not that hard. It is so good. If you love the N64, you have to play this game. That's all I'm gonna say. If you made it to the about 12-minute mark of this video, thanks for watching, and mahalo.